Hello and welcome, all of you Nebraska high school wrestling fans. Welcome to episode 4 of the NEWrestle podcast. I am
Dang.
joined here with Drew once again.
Episode
And
4? That's kind of
yeah,
crazy. That's cool.
episode 4. We are full swing. Season has started in terms of competition. We're excited. There's actually something to talk about other than trying to fill preseason talk with all that space and all that kind of stuff. So now we have some stuff we can actually talk about. Some results are on paper. I'm excited. How about you, Drew?
Super excited. And I'm excited to thank Joe again for sponsoring this thing, Insure Nebraska, Joe Schluckerbeer. If anyone out there, I just kind of thought of this tonight. If anyone out there wants to reach out to Joe and get a quote or something like that, let us know that you do it. Give us some sort of hey, we're interested, and maybe I'll get you a hat or something. It might be something cool, and a good way to reach out to Joe and meet a cool guy and potentially, do some business together. So. Thanks,
But you
Joe.
have to
Appreciate you,
have
dude.
you got to have a little forewarning. It's been a couple episodes and I haven't got my shot in yet for a couple episodes. But
Oh
if
my
you go talk
gosh.
to Joe, you need to make sure you put on some sunglasses because those lights shine bright off of that old noggin.
Hey man,
We
it's happening to
appreciate
me.
you,
It's
Joe.
happening to me too. I got the hat, so
We appreciate you,
I
Joe.
actually have a hat from Joe that I was looking for to wear tonight that I could not find. So I'm hoping to at some point this season have my Insure Nebraska hat on. But yeah, let's get into this thing, man. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, and we always say we want to do it in 45 minutes or less, but it never happens. So.
Oh yeah, this is going to go an hour for sure.
Oh yeah.
Obviously we opened up things on Thursday. There was a handful of duels around the state. Nothing too crazy from an on paper perspective, but it was nice to just see results coming in. Obviously, people getting their feet wet with competition, getting their first weigh-ins of the season done, and all that kind of stuff. But really, the storyline kind of started on Friday with a couple of tournaments, a big duel in Class A. That took place, and a pretty good triangular from Class C that took place as well. So we'll start things off with the Friday duel between Grand Island and Columbus, who are both ranked inside the top 5 in Class A. You want to kind of take us through that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, Columbus, we had ranked number 2 preseason, right? The dual rankings are out on Rockfin today. If you're a premium subscriber, you can go in and look. Obviously, Grand Island won that duel, so now they're ranked ahead of Columbus in the duels. Tournaments can be completely different, and then obviously it's the opening week, first night of the season. Will there be lineup changes? They're in the same conference, the Hack. They're both at the Fracas and Grand Island next weekend. So, I mean, there's going to be opportunities for these two teams to see each other and figure each other out ahead of, state duels when it might matter a little bit more. So, a good way to start the season off. I think that Columbus had a few guys up a weight, so I don't know if they try to incorporate getting, because they have a few guys that like are state quality caliber kids that are on JV. So I'm not sure that they'll do that again or how they'll shape their lineup. I think there's other different ways they can go, but I mean, obviously Grand Island's, they just always do a good job. It's pretty cool. Same thing with Kearney, like these, the Class A schools, Columbus, Grand Island, Kearney, that aren't in a huge metro area, I guess, by Nebraska standards, in Omaha or Lincoln, and they reload every year. I mean, there's kids that come, freshmen that are performing already, and JV guys that step up. So pretty good duel to kick off the season for sure.
Yeah, I think it's really, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head with those 3 schools. Like, just as a fan and an outsider, it's nice to see how the development in those programs, like, it's just next man up mentality. I think Cody mentioned something like that in his information to us, is that those 3 schools specifically, I think he really actually outlined it in Kearney's for Carney's sake in his dual rankings, but it's just next man up. They just get the next influx of guys, and Columbus is like that, Grand Island's like that, and it's really fun to watch. That it's especially being outstate Nebraska,
and
so,
Columbus did have an open in that duel, so
mhm.
at 126, surely they have someone to pop in there, and maybe that would have changed it. I don't know well enough, but
Sure.
yeah.
And then obviously I was actually just down the road. I didn't know that duel was in Columbus. I was initially told that was in Grand Island. And I went down and so I'm actually still not sure now that with the info that I got, but I was just down the road at the Lakeview Invite covering that tournament, watching the Columbus SCOTUS Shamrocks win that thing over Raymond Central. A lot of kids around the state, really, but just from the perspective of Lakeview, weren't at the weights that they're projecting to be. Obviously, it's week 1. Some people haven't hydrate tested yet. Some people aren't down to weight. How much? I guess, like, kind of segueing into this a little bit. How much stock do you put into some of these results in week 1 as we work through them, like regarding the whole not being down to weight and stuff?
Well, I think you have to put stock into everything, because a lot of kids want to go down a weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you have a little success up at 120, and all of a sudden 113 seems like a long way away. So, I mean, it's good. I mean, you're getting competition. You're shaking off the rust a little bit. You're getting the juices flowing. And all with one goal in mind, right? Like in most cases, they will make their weight. They got to follow the descent. But it does take. I mean, it doesn't. Wrestling nerds like us, it's like you're wanting specific matches to happen, and sometimes they just don't. But
right,
it's still fun because, I mean, you're gonna get matches opening week that aren't even on the table at the end of the year too. So,
right.
Case in point, Battle Creek had some guys up a weight at O'Neill this weekend, and I mean that's definitely not the only one. It just popped into my mind, but
Yeah, well, and actually, at that same tournament, there was Ja'Kai Williams was down at 132 when we thought he was going to be at 138 going into the season. So,
yeah.
like, that was a surprise too. Like, some people, like,
Mm-hmm.
that's more rare, obviously, like someone being down a weight compared to where we thought they'd be.
That Reese Santa Maria from Papillion La Vista South, we had him ranked at Cody had him ranked at 150, and he's at 144. So yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. We don't get coaching forms returned by everybody, and that's the beauty of it. Now that matches are happening, we get to see this stuff firsthand and see where people are going to go, and you get a pretty good idea by even week 2 or 3 where people are going. So
right. So, kind of back on Friday a little bit. I think one of the surprises of the Friday tournaments was maybe Amherst winning the Ravenna Invite. Burwell was there, and I know that obviously you don't have every piece in place, but Amherst really kind of flexed its early season muscle, I guess, so to speak. They've been at that tournament forever, and I'm not sure if they have won that tournament in quite a few years. I'd have to check on that, but they won the Ravenna Invite this last Friday.
Hey man, something about Amherst in Class D. I tell you what, they're back in their element. I might even be misremembering a little bit, but I think it was state last year where they had like 3 guys make the semifinals or something crazy. It might have been 2 or 3 years ago, but they always have the kids, or at least like a few of the guns that are going to do well. And I mean, the tradition's too rich in that town, but now that, seems like they're close to a full lineup or pretty close, and kind of ready to rock on not just the in-season tournament front, but I expect them to be really competitive on the dual side of things. I haven't looked at their dual schedule yet. I mean, in the past they've had some really difficult duels. They go to the Kearney one where they could see like Millard South and stuff like that. But depending on what their dual schedule is like, they could pretty easily, make a run at state duels. I mean, and sometimes in Class D, a big part of the battles fill in most of the weights, and I think they do.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. So obviously Amherst being back, I mean, led by Cope Smith, really he dominated in that tournament. He pinned his way through and just to get a nice little season started there for Cope. Um, some kind of like, I guess like when you move over to Saturday, we had great tournaments all over the place. We were obviously live streaming both Friday and Saturday at York, the girls and the boys invite.
Yep.
The Kozad invite was going on. The O'Neill invite was going on. Kearney High invite going on. Like for an opening weekend, man, you had
It's
a
spread
ton
out.
of firepower. You had a ton of firepower in a few tournaments.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's not like that tournament that you sort of feel like dominates the headlines. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like there's a handful of events that have high profile teams and high profile kids. Not
Mm-hmm.
not to discredit any of the other tournaments going on, but yeah, I mean O'Neill was a big one for Class C. Um, Kozad for Class B was big. Uh, you know, Ravenna, a fairly solid tournament. You were at Lakeview. Did want to shout out Columbus SCOTUS for winning that one. They haven't had what you'd call a tremendous amount of success, I guess, the past several years, and they
Mm-hmm.
seem to be a team on the rise. So credit to Columbus SCOTUS.
So I pulled this. I got to interrupt you for a second because it's
Okay.
about them.
Okay.
Apparently, I pulled this off of a newspaper article just on I was looking for a team picture for SCOTUS, and before Coach Boss gave me one. But apparently, Columbus SCOTUS has never won the Lakeview Invite. This is the first time in program history that they've won it.
Oh, cool.
So, and
Nice.
they did have a run of a good teams when Coach Dodson was there.
Yep. Hmm.
And so that was kind of a surprising one to hear, given that fact as well.
Yeah, that I
So
didn't. That's pretty cool, honestly.
yeah, so
What did you
um,
think from up there? Did anything surprise you?
well, there's some good matches. I got some film on some of them, but I was, we had a matchup between number 2 Philip Streff at 120, I want to say, in Class C
Hmm.
against the D2 Tate Wood from Fullerton in a final there. That one was won by Streff. It was 8-0 at one point. Um, Largely controlled. It was, but it was nice to see 2 versus 2. Like in an opening weekend. Crazy match at 165 in the final between Wyatt Jelinek and Parker Newman of SCOTUS, and Jelinek is from Raymond Central. That was a flurry at the end, and if you did not see the post that we had of the video there, in the flurry at the end, which I do believe, and like I think everybody thinks that the referee got the call correct. I mean, I don't think there was any other controversy on it, but there was kind of a flurry. Jelinek ended up in like a side cradle to secure a takedown or to win the match 7-5 because Newman was ahead 5-4, and it felt like the scramble. Like that's one of those scrambles where you're like, this is lasting forever as it's taking place while you're wrestling. And you're like, why is the time not running out? So like I can already tell like what's happening in Parker's head. Like he's probably just thinking like, come on, time, come on, time, come on, time. And ultimately, Jelinek got the better of the situation there.
Nice. And,
So
and and Newman from SCOTUS, he's one of those guys we're kind of thinking might end up going down. Yeah. So
yeah,
Jelinek,
I
yeah.
I've got a lot of I think a lot of those SCOTUS kids may end up being one weight down by the when it's all said and done. So yeah, so then we have obviously the Kozad invite, and I have been talking about this all weekend because I think it's nuts, and I'm just going to lead into the Kozad invite with the performance that Gothenburg's Lucas Terrian, I think that's how you say it, had a heck of a tournament. Coming back from injury a year ago, I don't think he wrestled districts at all,
No, he didn't.
and then comes into this tournament and beats B6 Wyatt Stabnow of Alliance by a major, beats number 4 Jack Laney, I think is the name, from Plattsmouth by pin, and then wrestled John White from McCook, who's rated number 3, into sudden victory, and ultimately lost on the takedown there. He lost 4-1. But I think with the circumstances of what he had to endure last year, missing the end of the year, coming into this year, Like I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, you never know. I mean, those 120s, the Class B kids, those guys are all 106s up a couple weights too, and I'm sure that there's a substantial strength difference. And um,
mhm.
Therian probably decent size 120. I think they were thinking he might have been going 26. So
He wrestled 26
phenomenal
the night
event.
before.
Yeah, yeah. Phenomenal event for him. Kozad's pretty sweet because you get like the Gretna East and the Plattsmouth and Platteview go out there, and then you have Gehring and Sydney and
Hmm.
Alliance. So pretty rare when that happens.
Hmm.
Lexington's a good one later in January where you get a little bit of a blend as well.
Hmm.
Um, but that one, if you're kind of in tune with Class B mainly, and then a little bit of Class C like Gothenburg and Kozad are Class C. But that was a nice little tune-up. I think most teams are probably missing a guy or two, but I would say I'm slightly surprised that Gehring won um, over a really good Plattsmouth team. Hastings, Gothenburg, who we've mentioned in our review that has done great job. Their program on the up, and then Alliance and Gretna East are right there too. So
Hmm.
Gehring, hats off to Gehring. I noticed that they have a transfer from Scotts Bluff. I think Anthony Morales at 138. He got second. Had a ranked win over Trejo from Alliance on his way, and then just lost to number one and shuts in the finals. So Frost
Yeah.
Wallace beat C number two Gardner at 126 before falling to Coy Childers in the finals from Alliance. So pretty impressed with Gehring early. I think that kind of is a decent indicator about their skill as a dual team
Hmm.
as well. Hastings, have to say that we made an omission on our original team rankings for the tournament team. Hastings did have enough points to be in the top 15, so we'll get them next time. They're pretty good. Hastings and Gehring had a nice match at 175. Reese Knight from Gehring, who I think we have at number 2, and then Zane Thompson, who's number 4.
Hmm.
They met in the finals, and Knight won in tiebreakers 3-1. So, and that's going to be a great weight. Throw in Nico Rotella, who's ranked number 1, and then Grady Meyer, who's number 3 from Wahoo. Those are second and third placers from state last year. So it's
Hmm.
going to be a good weight in Class B. And Kozad, whoever does their Instagram reached out and said we should go out there. I'd love to at some point.
It's
Maybe we'll make
crazy.
that happen next
I
year.
know we talked about this over lunch yesterday, and like you stream York. I
Mm-hmm.
told O'Neill that I would go up there. I mean, whether we're streaming it or not, that remains to be seen. But like, I'm going to actually be physically at O'Neill next year to cover that one because of how great that tournament ended up being and has been for years now. And then obviously with Kozad, it's almost like you want to be in all three places at once, and among other places too. You don't want to just single them out because there's a lot of stuff going on. But I mean, you can't cover it all, right? Like
Right.
physically.
Yeah,
And
but
so,
on that note, if you're from those areas and you want to help us out, like,
mhm,
not going to say no to some decent quality photos. We can do the results thing and write the captions and all that, but we always, I mean, who doesn't love a little help from time to time? So there's only so many
absolutely.
of us, and way too many tournaments for you know us to go cover everything. But I do need to shout out York because we were there Friday and Saturday. Um, Not sure if we should go into the girl stuff yet or not. So I'm just gonna go on Saturday for now. Um, Great team race. York, real deal. Beatrice, those freshman kids on Beatrice. I tell you what, they're freaking good. Um, the Omars, Edison and Finley, and then Carson Hanshaw did great. And then you got those guys. You have uh, they have 3 or 4 guys that are solid kids, and then you have the hammers and uh, Carlin Belding and Merrick Johnson. And
Mhm.
I mean, I think Beatrice is going to be a team that's kind of in that well, easily in the top 5, provided they stay healthy. And they edged
Yeah.
Elkhorn North, who's been fun to kind of watch materialize over the past few years into like a decent, maybe be more than a decent program. I think we got up as like a top 5 or 6 dual team in B.
Yeah. On that note, with like talking O'Neill, and you talk about the depth and how the team races were, obviously the team race at O'Neill was crazy at the top. Specifically, Battle Creek edged out Pierce by 4 points on 196.5 to 192.5. Kind of speaks to the depth that both teams have. Obviously, I know that Valentine was without a couple of wrestlers, specifically Braden Steck did not wrestle at 106. And they did not have Trevor Burdick either in their lineup as well. And then when it comes to David City, obviously we've already talked about this before, but missing Case Schindler off of that roster is obviously going to be a huge hit to where they thought they would be moving forward. But ultimately, what a great tournament. I think I'm counting right now: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of our top 15 teams were at the O'Neill invite. So
should be helpful getting some data from that one, huh?
And that doesn't even, I mean, we don't cover South Dakota, obviously. And so Chamberlain, South Dakota was there, and Todd County, South Dakota was there, and they brought some dudes as well. Super good tournament. And I know we said this on the last episode, but their mat setup is crazy. Like, they have the offset 5 mats that circles that can be in one gym, and then they put 3 other mats in another gym. And it is just, absolute madness in terms of being a wrestling nerd. Like, when you look at that, it's just like, oh boy, I gotta go. So hats off to O'Neill for putting out a great environment too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they love their wrestling up there, Kaboom country.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. I think we had sort of talked about this a little bit. Ravenna in a duel beat Donovan Trumbull, who then turned around and beat Plainview in Central Valley over the weekend. So
by a fairly wide margin.
So kind of maybe a team to keep an eye on in Class D. Ravenna is, maybe not on the tournament side, but the
so I have side. I have a tidbit of information that, looking at paper, you're like, okay, now this can be, you can split your hair or take this with a grain of salt or whatever. Donovan Trumbull had 2 tech falls.
I saw that too.
In that duel.
I saw that too. Yeah.
It's
a conversation to have. They have some young kids on the team.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
if you can get the pin, get the pin, right? Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. And ultimately they lost that by 1, and then so
I'm sorry. That is crazy that, like, because I'm like, I looked that up and I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, that's crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah.
And you saw it too. We didn't talk about that one at all.
No.
But that's really getting into the weeds to even notice that.
Right. Yeah. Colin and I actually had a conversation on the phone about that one too. But
that's funny.
Interestingly enough, Donovan then goes, or obviously was at the Plainview duels, is what we're referencing here. And Cameron Sip, is it 13 or 120? I don't have it right in front of me.
I think he's
now.
120.
Okay. Well, he had wins over number 6, Duggan Dugan from Central Valley, and then also beat Guy Wertman from Plainview. So he had a heck of a tournament as well.
He's a good kid. A freshman, young. He did drop that first one to Ravenna, but that Paulzer from Ravenna, who beat him, I think got 3rd last year.
Yeah. Paulzer's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. He's already got some good matches under his belt. And, for your first, weekend as a freshman, having 3 like highly ranked guys out of the gate and winning 2 of them, that's pretty good. Yeah.
That's absolutely, now you're fully on the radar, especially after, because Wertman's was ranked 2 by our rankings.
Yeah.
So,
that's a tremendous win. Good job, dude.
Yeah. So, yeah. And anything else on the weekend that we are? Holy
crap! Missing? Yeah, there's tons of stuff, dude.
Well, I'm trying to say in terms of time. I'm saying in terms of time.
So man, on the girls' side,
mm-hmm.
the I was in York all afternoon and night, I guess, on Friday. Um, I was really thoroughly impressed with Adams Central for Class B. They ranked number one in Class B. They were A last year. They're B this year. Um, they're going to be a force. They'll have hopefully, I guess hopefully for them, they'll spread out at some weights a little bit. But just some, just impressive wrestling. I think they won. It felt like they won half the weights. So pretty good job on their part. Millard South. So Millard South over the weekend beat a really good Lewis Central Iowa team. Now tonight they beat Norfolk, who we didn't publish the girls' dual rankings tonight. Kind of, sort of looking at that one, like maybe, but we had Norfolk ranked number one, but obviously that'll be switched. Millard South beat Norfolk 45-35. Awesome duel. Crowd was crazy. So it's a good, good early season duel to have, man. I mean, those could be the two better dual teams. I mean, West Side will fill most weights, but I don't know that they can quite run with them in duels between Norfolk and Millard South. And I also think Kearney, the Kearney girls, are going to be quite good. They finished ahead of Lexington, who is going to be very good this year. I don't think Lexington had their whole team out there, but Kearney High won their home invite for girls. And then Lexington was third, I think. And I think Grand Island. Yeah. I mean, can't forget about Grand Island. They've been a staple in girls wrestling. So kind of a lot already, a lot of tie-ins on the girls stuff. And I think it's Battle at the Point maybe this week. And then Council Bluffs Classic will have some good matches too. The Kansas girls wrestling is really prevalent and big, and they'll bring some good girl teams up to CB this weekend.
It sounds like I'm looking at the notes because as we started this episode, we got some extra notes put into our little document, which is kind of nice, by our friend Sean.
Oh, is Sean punching up right now?
Yeah. So the West Holt girls won the O'Neill invite. I don't know how tough that was on the girls' side of things, but obviously the West Holt girls are pretty tough.
They are. They have several good kids, and there's my daughter walking around in the background. They have several good kids, and they won their home invitational on Monday too. So you got to keep your head on a swivel with the girls, because they're on the girls' side. They do have some Monday tournaments, and West Holt actually beat Ord, who got second at their invite on Monday.
Okay. Yeah. I should have said this before we went over to the girls, because I think this is a really big thing to mention. Over at the Conestoga invite, Dax Peterson able to compete, and competed freaking really well after that horrific accident he was in, and nobody really knew. I mean, this is a couple years ago. Nobody really knew if he was going to be able to wrestle again. And I know that there's obviously the specifics. I'm not sure on how it has impacted his life, but obviously from a wrestling side of things, and talking to the Logan View coach just tonight, they were obviously in attendance, and he kind of gave us a clearer picture that it was like, he's gotten big too. Like, so he's been able to develop his body while navigating these struggles that he's had to go through since the accident and all that kind of stuff. And so just wanted to say a huge shout out to Dax and your recovery, and the ability that for you to be able to wrestle at a high level. Like, super proud of you, dude. Super proud.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that was pretty crazy accident. Missed his whole freshman season last year. So it's a good story, one to keep an eye on. I mean,
obviously from Syracuse. I don't know if I said that, but yeah, he's, Cy Peterson's brother from Syracuse, if I didn't mention that. So
So, I mean, we're still on last weekend, and that's fine. I know we're going long winded. Um, is there anything else that you saw? There were a few more things that I kind of was thinking about.
So as I was kind of picturing how this episode's going to go, since it was our first results based episode, I was like, you know, when it came down to it, you're trying to get everything organized, and you want to mention everything, and it's like there's just some things that are going to escape your mind as conversation goes on. So if we don't hit you guys specifically, and you had a huge result and we maybe missed it, just want to apologize out in front of it, because it's, 6 classes of stuff, and I know that you all understand and that kind of thing, but we try to hit as much as we possibly can.
Read the
Um,
recaps. that's why
yeah,
that's why we write
that's
it out and put it out there.
that's
Read the
the other
recaps.
part of
It's
it.
on our
Other part of
Rockin'
it
channel.
too is I kind of want to. I was kind of been tiptoeing around because I'm like, well, how much do you talk about? But yeah. Anyway, the other one last thing was the interesting finals match at 175 at Conestoga, having the Cansteiner brothers having to wrestle each other, and the younger one
Jeez.
getting the better of the older one 7-3.
Okay.
So Cole beats James 7-3.
I mean, I'm sure that probably goes like both ways in practice. I mean, I literally grew up with my brother being 1 year younger than me, and we were always at similar weights, and he was actually usually a weight heavier, and it was always close every day.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know if in a tournament, like, no way. I mean, props to those guys. I'm like, whoa! I can't imagine parents and family, like, they're probably like, watching the match
Yeah.
like this. What are you doing?
Right.
Oh, but good for those. They did it on their freaking home mats too. That is crazy.
How cool is that though? I mean, like, just to be, I mean, if you're a Conestoga person, like that's fun to do or fun to watch. And
yeah, good for them.
Obviously the story is Cole's going down to 165. And so like, that's why he's wrestling 175 right now.
Maybe James has to go down to 165 though.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I did want to kind of touch on Creighton Prep, and then Omaha Scut before we sort of maybe took a look ahead, because there are number one teams in A and B, and Prep went up to the Dan Gable Donnybrook in Iowa, super tough tournament, some nationally ranked teams. They're kind of a mash unit right now. They were without 5 starters at the start of it, and even more down on that second day. They were still top 10 out of probably 50 some teams. I don't even know how many. They were actually sitting in second after the first day without 5 starters. So if that gives you an idea of what Prep is going to be capable of, there you go. Scut was 5th at Gardner Edgerton. 3 of the teams, at least two were nationally ranked, and maybe one's like a national ranking honorable mention. And they were pretty close to second or third, Scut was. So they had several top 4 placers. Riley Johnson, he won 190, and he's going to just be really tough to beat this year. I'm curious to see how he does this weekend at Ironman.
Individual thing real quick. I have to mention this. Angel, gosh, what's it? Peralta from Madison had a heck of a tournament up at O'Neill. Unranked sophomore, beats Darren Vidichka from David City by the score of, like, I want to say it was 8-4. And I think Madison had a 106 pounder that wrestled really well too. And they competed pretty well up there without the services of Kevin Pedraza. So Madison's trending up as well. So are you what do you think about that?
I don't know. I didn't even I knew the Peralta kid. I mean, he was a good youth wrestler. He was in and out of the rankings a little bit last year. I mean, he's a good wrestler, and I think Vidichka's up a couple weights. So probably, and Vidichka is not the type of guy who's going to, score 25 points either. So I fully expect that he'll be fine. And Peralta probably probably crack the top 10 here, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I would think so. Okay, do you want to pivot to
Pivot.
the old
I mean,
week
if we
2?
got more, I got time, man. I got nothing but time.
I mean,
Um,
I mean, we could make
A165 was sweet this last weekend. Um, Ben McAllister from Miller West beat #1 Ryder Cruz. Colton Jarecki beat Caden Harder. I mean, that's a good way. A165. You're gonna see some crowding at A150 and A165 because Mason Peterson's a 157 and the dude's a dude. So you know, I mean, it's early in the season, but that's definitely for the Class A fans out there. I'd keep an eye on 150 and 165. I bet there'll be more shuffling a little bit as the season goes on, because the 165 guys are they were all super close last year at 157, and they're gonna all be beating each other all year long. So it'll be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess obviously, I mean, some of the absences of wrestlers, like try to hit Class D a little bit. Obviously, the big one was Shelby Rising City. They were without a ton of people, wrestlers, and actually have to shout out Tant Coach Kuhn, because he sent a Snapchat and said something about like sitting here in second to last place with my #2 rated team, and it just had a picture of him zoomed in, all sad. But it's like you only had like one guy there or two guys there or whatever it was. So like at the Lakeview invite. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a funny thing. But yeah, anyway. And the boy that for Central City at the York invite, Colbin Peters, didn't he win that thing?
Yeah, man, told you.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just kidding. Yeah,
taking off just right where he left off 2 years ago as a freshman.
He's a good wrestler.
He's
a good wrestler. He was ranked in the top 6 like the whole year his freshman year. Yeah. And he's only going to be stronger, so he'll only get better as the season goes on too. So Peters is going to be good. Central City is going to be good in Class C.
Yeah, and they don't have Preston Burbach has not passed a hydration test yet, according to their track roster. So they're still waiting on him, and for him to be back in the lineup, which hopefully will be soon. But yeah, and there's numerous occurrences of that happening throughout the state. So okay, well,
all right, let's look ahead, huh?
Okay. We're going to jump into week 2 a little bit. We're not going to go crazy on week 2 because we have our week 2 preview. Is that up yet?
No, it'll be up tomorrow night.
Okay. So a couple duels specifically that jump off the page on Thursday that you should 2 days from now. Well, 1 day from now from when you guys listen to this. Syracuse, I think they're rated in B. And versus they're going to be at Central City. I think that's going to be a big duel, a fun duel to go to. And then Battle Creek, #1 versus #2, Battle Creek Cedar Catholic is Thursday night as well, with some of those awesome matchups with the Hochstein boys over there at Cedar Catholic. And obviously some of their kids that maybe are lesser known, Hunter Kukta, the Bartling is another one that's kind of in the mix there to add some depth. But as I was working through the duels rosters, it looks like they're going to be capable to fill 12 of the 14 weights. So it's, they do have potential at winning more duels than maybe what you think, because I think when people think of Cedar Catholic, they just think of the Hochsteins and their firepower within that, and Maverick Heine, obviously. But they do have some kids to support.
A lot of those guys are going to have to lose a lot of weight if they're going to fill 12 weights. I hope they do, because, with their hammers, they're already a pretty good tournament team. But I think they're going to have to drop some weight and drop it fast if they're going to, obviously Battle Creek's going to be a tough one, even if everyone's spread out. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is overwhelmingly going to be in Battle Creek's favor, but there are the interesting matchups, at least to I mean, good storyline, so
Oh yeah,
maybe not.
yeah, no doubt.
So
Hopefully we get some big matches. Sometimes they tend to not happen. We'll see.
I'm still on the fence on whether or not I'm going to go up there. So, I mean, I'm going to make that decision tomorrow, meaning Wednesday, which is today.
Yeah,
if you're listening to this,
today, if you're listening,
you got to get used to that.
Yeah.
So, okay, week 2. So Friday, the Bellevue West invite, with Bellevue West, Elkhorn South, Aurora, Elkhorn, Gretna East, Hastings, Lincoln Standing Bear, Platteview, Wahoo, and Boone Central. There is a number of ranked wrestlers there. Obviously, I'll let you listeners can go look through our preview when that drops. Newly added this year, the Peru State Invite, I believe, is first year in existence.
Yeah, that's a new one.
I think that's the one that, like, I think the Garfield brothers kind of spearheaded with Jason Schusenar, and looking at some of the teams that obviously Omar Bryan's going to be down there. It's kind of feels like an alumni thing, and taking their teams.
Yeah,
and
yeah, hey, it's cool though. Maybe Peru State will start a program or something.
Hey, I know that the Garfield brothers, specifically Derek, has talked about one time. He's like, if Peru State had a wrestling team, I'd be interested in that coaching gig. I think he said facetiously. So, then you have the Raymond Central duels in Class C. DC, I see you're highlighting that on my paper. DC West, Battle Creek, Bishop Neumann, Conestoga. Columbus SCOTUS is there. Raymond Central's there. A few of these teams that are on the bubble.
You don't have to list them all, dude. We'll be here.
I'm just saying.
Time if you go through every tournament. Holy smokes! There's going to be some good duels at Raymond Central, though, man. You got Battle Creek's there. Raymond Central's always good. Crofton Bloomfield should be solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wood River, man. Wood River is going to be good.
I will be at Wood River on Friday, kind of covering that tournament. My wife and I have a wedding in Kansas the next day, so naturally nice to go out west. And I used to be at Wood River, so that's kind of a little homecoming to an extent. Great tournament by ranked wrestlers, tons of ranked wrestlers all over the place in that tournament. Kind of another thing, some Wood River has bolstered it in the last few years in terms of getting some teams from out west. Unfortunately, Valentine will not be there this year. They had been there in the last couple of years, but they do see O'Neill come down. Obviously, Gothenburg, that how good they have been this first week or so. Like, they're over there, along with the Tri-City area. That's usually pretty strong. So
113 at Wood River. 113.
Yep.
Circle it. It's number one Martin. You got Tristan Davis, who was second in Class D last year, and then the freshman Easton Widener.
Yes,
we've been bringing him up a lot, but I mean, this is his chance. I mean, this doesn't really matter. It's week 2, but I mean, pretty good chance for him to let everyone else know what we've kind of been talking about. But yeah, no, overall good tournament. 215. Grady Welke had a close match, didn't he? Opening week.
Yes,
he's number 1 at 215, so he'll have C number 3 Meyer and number 5 Ramirez Aguilar from Gibbons. So we'll probably learn a lot about 215 there in Class C too.
Yes. Yeah, that match was 13-11 with Nordby from Pierce, by the way, with Welke.
There you go. So that's what it was. Yep.
Yeah. Otherwise, trying to think, the Crete invite over there in Class B, always a pretty strong invite.
That's Crete's going to be great on Saturday. I really think it is. Cedar Catholic goes to Crete now.
Yeah,
and that's
they lost. They lost Crete. Yes, I believe so. But Crete lost Central City, who used to go to that, because now they're doing the Peru State thing. So while you gain one, you lose one, and but still another fantastic tournament for you, with a ton of rated wrestlers again all over the place based on this list.
Yeah,
Then
anything
there,
stand out to you for Crete?
um, well, I initially at first glance, kind of looking through this, I think at 130, well, that's never mind. That's not the correct weight. Some of these rankings reflect us not having the weight changes yet. So like at 132, Grant Eshiti from Wilbur, he's up at 44. So like I think that like with the way that Logan Zimmerman wrestled this last weekend at 38 and O'Neill, like that's an interesting one there with Zegers from Milford and Talon Belding from Beatrice, just to kind of see where some of that stacks up. Ralston was at the O'Neill invite, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was, like already seeing each other in the same bracket there. But obviously with Cedar Catholic being there, having the Hochsteins there, gosh, I mean, it's all over the place with a mix of C and B.
I'm looking at 144 with I don't know if Bodie Hochstein will be down or not, honestly, but Carter Jeschke, Gage Grandel, and James Ferguson, and then Maddox Stubendick from Syracuse. That's three ranked B guys and a ranked number 3 in Class A, Jeschke. So if Bodie Hochstein's there, I mean it's one hell of a lineup. That James Ferguson from Elkhorn North is like
he's good.
He's impressive to me. So also be
Yeah,
very curious to see how that weight shakes out if they're all there. Here's the tournament that should be at the top. Is if you're a Class D locked in person. How about Osceola? Have you dove into that one too much?
I have not yet.
Okay, I'm gonna count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's 10.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 number 1 ranked wrestlers. 9 of them are Class D.
Yeah.
And then there's number 2 in D at 157. So
the top of the top.
I mean, that's
well,
nuts.
you're getting number one.
Yeah, you're going to say the same thing I was.
Yes, 132.
Yeah, and there's another weight, 150. Yeah. And that Drake Troxel and Cooper Earhart, those guys are both sophomores. Those guys are tough sophomores.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, Osceola, whatever. That'll be a good one.
Heck yeah, dude. Like that's what you want, man. You want to see, I mean, gosh, you are not going to see anything better in terms of the top end for Class D.
And
Goodness.
Eli Colt from UTAN, who's number 1 in C at 126, he actually wrestled up at 32. And so him and Guzman from Palmer, who's the D number 1 at 132, they wrestled last weekend, and Guzman won that one 4-2. So it's possible they see each other again if Colt is still up at 32. And we'll see if the Shelby Rising City boys are back. They made a deep run in football, and I know you mentioned that they were missing a lot of guys. And usually those teams that go really far into football, like it's just a one weekend thing. So hopefully we get to see those guys.
It should be seeing those guys this week.
Yeah.
I was going to say one of the North Bend invite is always interesting as well because of the Aquinas Pierce, always kind of being there, and then you have all your mixed, North Bend has good kids on their roster, sprinkled in here and there. Like it's not like a ton of firepower in terms of depth from teams. But like Lincoln Christian, Luke Farman and some of the Lincoln Christian boys in the past that have been there, Logan View is there, it's a good turn. Takema Herman's kind of been good in the last few years. Or, maybe not top end, but it's like you have a bunch of dudes sprinkled in there to make that a really highly competitive tournament, to make some interesting matchups. And so like, obviously 132 looks fantastic. There's 5 ranked wrestlers there. Farman leading the way on that. With Gossman from Pierce, Stanek from North Bend, who had that's 2 tough tournaments in a row for Stanek because Lakeview was tough at 132 as well. I think he ended up getting third at that tournament. Like he took or maybe he got fourth. I can't remember. He took a couple losses maybe, but yeah, it's, gosh, 190 has 5 kids ranked. Yeah, North Bend will be a good one too if you're in the area. Like, you might want to go check that one out too. So
the tags.
Yeah. And their
Ooh,
gym.
tags.
I think the girls' invite goes on at the same time, I believe. Just from being at Logan View, you know, like I think because they have 2 gyms rolling in that thing too as well. So
Yeah, and I am going to say again, I know we talked about this, I think, last time, but the boys' tournaments are really easy to look ahead at and preview because there's a set schedule on the NSAA. There is no set schedule on the NSAA for girls, so you have to go into track and, like, you know, trudge through
it's
everything.
much more, it's much more tedious process.
And we're just not going to know all that on a Tuesday night / Wednesday morning for the girls, but we will have something out there. We're not trying to slight the girls in any way at all. But I mean, like, I covered girls wrestling for years, and I can't think of what the main tournaments are outside of CB Classic this upcoming weekend. So I know every week there's a couple big ones, and it's escaping me. So, and
do you want to?
On that note, the CB Classic this weekend is where where I'll be and where a lot of us will be. We're going to have a team of people there covering the Nebraska schools. It's a really, really solid event. I think I'm going to run by these teams. Number 2, Columbus. Number 3, Lincoln East. Number 4, Grand Island. Number 5, Millard South. Number 6, Kearney. Number 7, Millard West. Number 8, Papillion La Vista. You have B number 7, Plattsmouth. B number 9, Blair. And then Bennington is number 2 in B. That's where I'll be, and it's going to be fun. I love the Council Bluffs Classic weekend. It's just a good one. There are a few Kansas teams that are very good. Brandon Valley, South Dakota is always one of the best teams in South Dakota. Iowa's got some good teams that go, and then a couple teams from Missouri. So it'll be fun.
You want to know an interesting thing about Brandon Valley? So I was up in Brandon, South Dakota this summer.
Mm-hmm.
That is a absolutely beautiful town, and it is like an exploding suburb, basically. Of Sioux Falls, and like everything there is new. It's crazy. Like, it's gone from like the size of where we grew up of 2,000 to like 14,000 in the span of like 5-6 years. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Not that that's relevant to anything, but
I'm like, cool, neat. Random facts by Streeter.
Shout out to the old Brandon Valley, whatever whatever that is. But I drove all over that entire town this summer with my wife, just kind of just oohing and awing over all the new houses and stuff. So, yeah, fun stuff on the NEWrestle podcast.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, you can tell it's getting late at night.
All right, so I posed this question. Again, if you want to our preview is going to drop for week 2 tomorrow or Thursday or whatever. I posed you this question while we were eating. We obviously just dropped dual rankings tonight on the boys' side. I want to know, like, as we were going through some of this, and we're checking records, like people that don't compete in duels on week 1, kind of some of the strategy, like from a coaching perspective. If you were a coach still, obviously you have been, but when you were coaching, there was no dual tournament yet. And what's your perspective on some of these guys maybe not competing on week 1 for duels? I mean, I have my own philosophy. What do you think?
I mean, it just depends. I'm going to give you a long-winded answer. So, are your kids cutting a ton of weight? do they wrestle year round?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're wrestling year round, they're probably competition ready. If not, they're not. Do you have a good football team? Are you from a small town that's going to make a deep run more years than not? I mean, we were talking about, I think we were talking about Burwell the opening weekend, and Ravenna every year was like, are they going to bring anybody because they were in the state football finals every year? And
Mm-hmm.
then there are other schools traditionally that do well. So if you think you have the team like to make a deep run, um, and potentially go to the state duels, like yeah, factor it in. If you
Mm-hmm.
are if you want to have a few duels for the fans and the crowd and yourselves, then they're cognizant of how you schedule it. I mean, even
Mm-hmm.
like look at it this way: like opening week, you've been practicing for a few weeks, maybe 2 weeks, pretty much. Those Creighton prep kids wrestle all year, and they still had like half their team. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting there like, okay, you could you can't make the state duels the first week of the season, but you can damn well not, or you can
Right.
put yourself fighting an uphill battle the rest of the way.
It's interesting that you say that because, like, from my perspective, being a head coach at Loganview the last 5 years, that was one of, I mean, obviously minus the COVID year, but like my biggest hangup was the hydration testing. Like, if certain kids weren't passing hydration tests and we're not ready to wrestle Thursday, losing that. I mean, it was always opening up with West Point, but whatever school it is, it doesn't really matter. You drop that duel, and it's just like you said. Now all of a sudden, you're like, I don't know if it is is whatever school we dropped to because we weren't ready to go with our lineup where we're supposed to be down to weight and all that kind of stuff because there's so many factors with hydration testing and descent plans. So then it's like, is that team going to carry enough success to be able to have a loss like that, still not hurt us in the grand scheme in terms of making the duels, like, and we didn't have a great duel schedule, but
Yeah,
I'm sure that plays a factor as well.
yeah. I mean, ultimately, up to the coach. Some come in hot, man. I mean, you got the uh, Flatwater Fracas next weekend. Like that Bennington a few years ago did not make the state duels, and part of that reason is because they weren't quite full, like with their guys,
Mm-hmm.
and they were probably the second or third best team in the state, and they didn't go because they lost a
Yeah.
bunch. They did. So I mean, it's however you want to do it. It's some
Yeah.
things you can't control.
Okay. So we didn't do this the last time. I told you we were going to do it this time.
Okay.
I got questions for you, dude.
All
I got
right.
the
Yes.
lightning round. The
Yeah.
lightning round is here. It's here, dude. And all of
Lovely.
you people are just wondering, like,
I've
that
been
was the
waiting
best segment.
58 minutes and 21 seconds for this.
So I've got this lightning round here for you as soon as I get the right. Okay. First two questions are going to be relevant to this season currently. Okay. So, question number one, regardless of class, girls or boys, the week one's he or she might be him or her award. Right off the top of your head.
Oh my gosh. Holy on the spot. Okay,
Well,
him
yeah.
or her. I'm gonna say for week one, Kieran Ackerson is him
Okay.
because that dude went up and won the Donnybrook, and the news had a story on him. It is kind of a cool story. He's a cancer survivor, and he goes up and wins this extremely difficult tournament, beats state champs and all this along the way. And then Sunday, basically the day after, is when the Take Down the Tumor tournament goes. And his family's been a big part of that event. I think they organized the whole thing. So I'm going to say, Kieran, you're the man, dude. You've been through a ton, and keep fighting the fight, dude. You're ranked number one in the state, so it's pretty cool.
Okay.
So that's kind of an easy one, honestly. The girls, golly, Where's Sean when you need him?
I know, right? He needs to pop in like the
I
Mortal
thought
Kombat guy.
yeah. No, the girl Chloe Wiseman from Adam Central was impressive. I thought she did a good job. Zanaya Baca from Adam Central was good. Their whole team is good. They're all her. Their whole team.
Okay.
They had one weight where I think they had 3 out of the top 4 at York. So I'm only going off of what I saw. I know there were a lot of great performances. So
Okay.
did you have anyone in mind?
Nope. These
On
are
the
I just
girls?
put you these
Okay,
are all on the spot
so
for you.
it's only gonna be me. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna give a shout out to Grace Drucke from O'Neill, who was hurt a lot of last year and got to win her home invitational, in front of the home crowd, because that's always fun to do.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, just as a preface to everybody listening.
And Mara Vanderpool from Westside, she made the finals at Donnybrook. I'm done.
Okay. You can't shout out everybody, Drew.
I know, I'm done. That's what I'm saying. I'm
Okay.
done. I promise.
Okay. He has not heard these questions. He has not heard these questions.
Yeah, you're gonna have to let me think for a second on some of these.
So when Drew goes blank, it's not because he can't think of anybody. It's just because he's 1 year older.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pushing 40.
Okay. Week 1, buy stock now wrestler. So under the radar, like buy the stock while it's cheap.
Golly, dude, this is gonna take me a while.
I'll give you one just because to fill the space of silence.
Fill the space. There we go.
And we already mentioned him earlier, but I'm going to go with Angel Peralta from Madison or Tristan Coe from Gothenburg, because that dude beat Zach Rogash from Sydney not once, but twice.
You're on your Class C business here. I see.
Hey, I have one assignment, dude. I have one assignment.
So, Aiden Summa from Seward beat Dalen Adams from Scottsbluff at 285 and B, and then the number 1 ranked guy, Steinbeck from McCook, didn't wrestle. I mean, I just, it feels like an open weight class. Like there's a number of guys who have a chance to win. And I think he kind of put himself in there as one of the guys that have a chance to win the whole weight class. So I'm going to say Aiden Summa, buy some stock in that dude in class. Okay. It's Class B. Yeah, Class B.
Okay. Ready for the next one?
I'm keeping it short. Yep.
All right.
Rock and roll.
Who is the most underrated Nebraska state champion in your mind? And what's in terms of first name that comes to your mind, and why?
Dude, jeez Louise, man.
Like, you don't have to be perfect. Just what was the first name that comes to your mind?
Kids who have graduated.
Well, yeah. Yeah. First state champion. Like, I mean, that could be from 2000. It could be from 1974.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, I don't know.
Let's skip that one and come back to it.
Okay. Name
that one's really hard.
Well, okay. And I did. Okay. So even though I said that he never heard the questions, I did give him one yesterday while we were at lunch. Are you ready to answer that one?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Who's the most influential Nebraska high school wrestler, or like in terms of impact? Not the best talent, but who's the most impactful Nebraska high school wrestler in your mind? And then also give the twist for, like I said, give the twist for you personally. That's also a non-ord influence because of your upbringing.
Well, I can only think of, like, they are the biggest names, but I mean, influentially, when I was, falling in love with the sport, it was like Todd Manili and Brett Allgood in that area. And if you're talking about impact, I mean, Todd Manili and like Casey Cole and the early guys in the Scott Dynasty era were probably, I mean, somebody had to be the first few guys to I mean, and I think Todd was maybe a few years into it, but someone had to do it, right? Like there would be no program if I'm stuck on Casey Cole, but there would be no program at Scott if those guys.
Mitch Waite.
Yeah, Mitch. Yeah, so there's a number of these guys, but
Steve Conlon.
yeah, there's a ton of them, and DeVetter was there. Like all these guys were. But like you have to be the first one to jump, and it happened, and then the Scott dynasty started, and then
Cash Coolidge, Matt Morkel. I mean, gosh, I could just go down the Scott. Like, I mean,
Bosley,
good grief.
all those guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those guys. Yeah. Okay. Name one. Only has to be one. Just the first one that comes to your mind. Doesn't have to be everybody. Name a 4-time champ who later became a college All-American.
Name a 4-time champ who later became a college, like at any level.
Sure. I mean, I was thinking D1, but
Brett Allgood in D2, Todd in D2, and Brett also in JUCOs. A 4-time state champ. Thomas Gilman. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And Gilman, it's hard for me not to even bring him up as like an influential wrestler. Like that kid was just different. Like at least because that's when I was coaching, which I don't like reflecting on my past a whole lot, but I remember seeing him and he just sort of had an aura, dude. Like you just knew he was destined for something beyond like, oh yeah, he's pretty good for Nebraska. He won Fargo. You could just tell he was going to do some amazing things. And so, world medals and Olympic medals and stuff, that's pretty dang awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite memory, doesn't even have to be wrestling. Favorite memory from the Devaney Center. I mean, during the state tournament, like what about the Devaney Center do you miss? I guess is kind of my thing.
I feel like the Devaney Center was wild. Like it, I don't know. It's just different looking up into the CHI as opposed to the Devaney. It just felt like closer, and they had all the signs, and then
the banners, dude.
The banners were crazy. Like if you were wrestling on the edge mats, like you were up against the wall basically. There was not a lot of extra room, but
on the edges, the mat was rolled up against the bleachers. It like literally went up the wall.
Yeah. So I mean, totally different. And it's funny because people do kind of complain about space at the CHI, but it's like if you wrestle,
dude, do you remember? I mean, the weigh-in area at Devaney was tiny.
It was the old wrestling room, wasn't it?
Yeah, just tiny. I mean, just from what we have now, like it's crazy. I was specifically thinking, because this is non-wrestling, but like, well, not really. Like, there's two things. I missed the whole like going out into the concourse and checking the wall for results, like on brackets. Like because they would go out and check, like, and I would be filling out my little, like me and Devin would be filling out our freaking our programs, and then it'd be like, well, you better sneak over to the freaking concession stand and get your dollar malt. Chocolate malt with a wooden spoon, thing. Like that was awesome. You can't have that no more. And then the Valentino's pizza, those two things were awesome. So anyway,
I didn't even remember you could go look at the brackets. So there you go. I had no idea.
You know what? I have a specific memory of looking at the name Pat Ackerson from Wahoo on the wall. Random. I have a weird memory with that. Yeah. Weird. I know. It's weird. Okay. Eddie Von Perezum, So anyway,
gosh,
this is kind of segueing into more serious. Are you a 3-class boys Nebraska guy, or are you an expansion of Class A and stay with 4 guy? If you had to do one or the other.
I mean, maybe it's not an unpopular opinion, but I mean, I know that Class A is the smallest, but they have the best top guys aside from like Scott, So I guess I would probably say 3 classes.
I mean, because I think 3
I
classes would obviously expand A anyway, but you know what I
It
mean?
would, yeah, yeah. Case, yeah, that's actually a good point. But if you ever were to do that, which I don't want to get to it in the weeds on this, we've been talking long enough. But if that was ever a thing, like you don't want to you don't want to detract from the state tournament. Like it's perfect. It's almost perfect the
Yes.
way it is.
Yeah.
So that would have to be like one of those things. I think Iowa now I know Iowa has a bigger than 16-man brackets. So if you did it and did 3 classes, which okay, why don't you get more kids than 16?
Right.
Anyways,
You don't want to
that's a
lose. You
whole
don't want to
other.
lose opportunities for kids.
Mm.
I guess is kind of my
Yeah,
point. I
well,
mean,
I mean, sure, but like you just want the environment to stay the same too, don't you think?
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean,
So,
you want the kids, you want the kids that deserve to be there to be there.
can you imagine what it would even look like with 3 mats instead of 4 for the finals? Like, it's just
Be a
iconic the way it is.
straight line.
Yeah.
It'd look good. It'd be cool.
Okay. Here we go. Only a few left.
Mm-hmm.
This will be a quick one. Bleaching of the hair for state. Who did it first?
The team that comes to mind is Takema Herman years ago.
Yes.
Is that who
Yes.
you thought to? Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. Takema.
I don't
The
know if that. I
Takema
mean,
Tigers.
somebody had to do it first, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, the bleach blonde hair. I mean, like to where it wasn't even just like that dirty blonde. Like it was bleached 5 times to make it almost white. Like that's what I recall. So anyway, like I said,
Yeah.
fun memory. Fun memory. Okay. Um this is one this is the last one. And this is actually a personal question for you. Just because I think it's fun to let you like tell your story a little bit.
If anyone's still watching this at this point,
Oh, they are.
please
If they aren't, then why not? Okay.
Okay.
Last one. When you think back to your time in high school, as you were a 4-time qualifier, you finished 3rd as a sophomore. I think you only lost twice after your freshman year. I know both of those losses, by the way. And then you
I'm
went
sure you do.
undefeated as a 2-time champ. Who are a couple guys that maybe you recall just off the top of your head? You don't have to get into this too much. That you recall were difficult to wrestle that weren't obvious on paper.
Um, man, Kale, there's too many to name. I'm gonna have to name somebody. But then if I name them, it's I don't want to sound disrespectful, you know? Like I don't know. I didn't like wrestling Lucas Obermiller. He was strong, you know, but like he was a multiple time state medalist, so it's not like he wasn't good. He was good.
Right.
So there's
Yeah.
sometimes you don't like wrestling guys that are going to give you trouble
Good.
when you're not used to having a ton of trouble.
Yeah.
But he comes to mind. Just stingy. I didn't like wrestling like the little short, stocky guys because I wasn't really a short, stocky, you know, whatever my weight
Mhm.
was going up. So insert whoever in there. But no,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a kid from Norfolk Catholic that I remember wrestling. I think my senior year at Valentine. I can't remember his last name. He was, you know, just kind of scrappy and pissed me off and. You know, like I don't recall being that mad very often in my matches, and so I guess him too. I don't remember his name.
All right. Well, that's about what I have for lightning round.
So here's my underrated, and he's not really underrated, but in my opinion, like Quinn Bailey from Shadron should have probably like. Now he did. He got his flowers, right? But like he was really good. I mean, and I think you know he went to Ironman last year. He beat Nico Rotella at Ironman last year. But the more notable thing there was he like had 2 days of practice because he had just kind of come out of football, which is what he's doing in college.
Mm-hmm.
So we never really got a chance to, see him at his peak at that event. But I mean, I really think like, Kyler Lauritsen is fantastic. And I think Quinn Bailey could have kept it pretty close with Kyler, So
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's just a top tier guy that maybe never got talked about in that manner, just maybe based off of where he lived and all that. But he was freaking really good.
I wondered if you would bring that up because, being out west, sometimes that's just kind of the thing, especially way up there, so yeah, great answer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for.
Before we call it, good luck to the Creighton Prep and Scott kids going to Ironman. I mean, it's the toughest tournament in the country. So,
did we mention the 2 Burwell kids that are going
to CB? Good luck to Brody Jensen and Drew Dopp going to Council Bluffs.
Yeah. So, I mean, just 2 kind of stragglers that are going there, I mean, if you want to call it that, because it's not the whole team, obviously. So,
yep. Now's the chance. Is there anything you forgot that you wanted to talk about today?
Oh, I'm sure there is, but I mean, that's the nature of doing a podcast and trying to not be, so just want to say, everybody, thanks for listening to episode 4. Thank you again to Ensure Nebraska and Joe Schleckebeer and the beauty that is on your head. You helped make this possible. So just want to say, give you a shout out again, and looking forward to week 2 of wrestling in high school wrestling in the state of Nebraska. So
see you guys.